Accused my husband of cheating with women at our church, since he became religious overnight, changed how he talks and dresses, and refuses to party with me. When I called it out, my parents, the church, and even he disowned me. I'm 34F. My now ex-husband is 36M. We were married for almost 6 years before everything went sideways, and to this day, I still don't really understand what the hell happened. Or maybe I do, and I just don't want to admit how fast he flipped on me. Everything started changing about 8 months ago. My husband and I were always the kind of couple who went out, hosted parties, drank with friends, stayed up late watching trash TV. He was never uptight, never that guy in a group. He was fun, normal. We met at a music festival for God's sake, and now he's the kind of guy who wears tucked-in polos to the grocery store and says things like, guarding your heart, when I ask him why he won't come out for drinks anymore. He got religious overnight, not gradually, not like a, hey, I think I want to explore my faith thing. One day, I woke up and he was talking about how he wanted to start going to this church a friend from work invited him to. I didn't think much of it at first. Fine, go. Do your thing. I figured it would be a once-a-month deal, maybe Easter, whatever. But then he started going every Sunday, then midweek Bible study, then men's groups, then volunteering. He changed his wardrobe, the way he spoke, the music he played in the car. He started hanging out with these people from the church, and suddenly I wasn't invited anymore. He'd go to these events, these gatherings, and I'd be at home alone. When I asked him why I couldn't come with, he'd just say, "You wouldn't vibe with it." Literally. Those were his words. You wouldn't vibe with it. It felt like I'd lost my husband to a cult. He stopped drinking, stopped watching the shows we used to binge, deleted half his social media, and blocked some of our mutual friends who still go out and live normal lives. I kept trying to talk to him about it, but he'd just say he was finding clarity and that he didn't want to live in chaos anymore, as if me wanting to have a margarita on a Saturday night was some kind of moral failure. The real breaking point was when he started texting these women from the church. And look, I know how that sounds. I know people are going to say I was jealous or insecure or whatever, but when your husband suddenly starts texting 5 different women who you've never heard of before, and when he hides the messages or turns his phone over every time you're in the room, you're gonna notice. One of them even had her contact name saved as Prayer Warrior. Like, what? I went through his messages once. I know that's not great, but I did. He'd been texting them late at night, and not in a group setting. Individual conversations, stuff like, "Thank you for your guidance," and "Last night's talk really opened something up in me," and "You make the scripture feel so alive." Tell me that doesn't sound sketchy. So, yeah. I asked him point blank if he was cheating. Not yelling, not accusing, just directly, and he lost it. Said I was projecting, that I was sick, that I couldn't stand to see him improving himself. Then he slept on the couch for a week. After that, he moved into the guest room. Then after another couple weeks of silent treatments and praying for my heart, he told me he was done. He wanted a separation, that he couldn't be unequally yoked anymore. I said fine. I called him out on all of it. The hypocrisy, the way he was replacing me with this church, these women, this entire fake personality he'd built for himself. I told him I didn't marry this version of him. And if this new religious guy was going to judge me for not being some perfect Proverbs 31 wife, then yeah, I wanted out. But I didn't expect what happened next. My parents sided with him. That's when I realized how deep this shit went. My parents, who used to be the most hands-off liberal chill people, suddenly got all sanctimonious. My mom said she always felt like I was distracting him from his walk. My dad literally told me he was ashamed I couldn't support my husband's spiritual growth. We're not even a religious family. What the hell? Then the church got involved. Someone from the women's group messaged me saying they were praying for my bitterness and hoped I'd find my way back to the light. People who didn't even know me were gossiping about our marriage, telling mutuals that I'd tempted him into sin, and now he was finally breaking free. One lady posted on Facebook about how proud she was of a brother in Christ reclaiming his home, and people liked it. I had to deactivate my account. The worst part? He didn't even defend me. He let them say whatever they wanted. He never once corrected the record. Never once told anyone that I was the one who supported him when he was jobless for 6 months, or that I worked 2 shifts to cover our mortgage so he could figure things out. Nope. Now I'm just some Jezebel who dragged him away from salvation. We're not officially divorced yet, but we're separated. He's still in the house. Technically, it's in his name. and I moved in with a friend. My family won't speak to me. The church blacklisted me, and he's still going around like some reformed prophet, acting like I'm the demon he had to cast out to reach enlightenment. So, yeah, I accused my husband of cheating. Maybe he didn't technically cheat, but he replaced me. He replaced us. And nobody sees that. They all think I'm the villain because I refuse to bow down to this version of him that showed up out of nowhere. But if becoming godly means destroying your marriage, isolating your wife, and acting like you're too holy for human connection, then what exactly did he find? I'm angry, I'm heartbroken, but mostly I feel like I've been erased. Update 1. South. I didn't think I'd be back on here so soon, but everything's been escalating fast. I thought the worst was over when he kicked me out and the church turned their backs on me. I thought, okay, fine, maybe I can just go no contact, rebuild my life, let him rot in his little accountability men's group or whatever. But no, he's not done ruining my life yet. Apparently, I'm the obsession now. First of all, let me just say, I did not expect the social fallout to hit me like this. I've lost more than just a marriage. I lost my circle, my identity, my support. One of the girls from our friend group, someone I've known for years, told me in a text that she had to step back from our friendship because I'm radiating negativity and she's on a spiritual journey. Like, is that code for she's trying to sleep with my ex too? I honestly wouldn't be surprised. My parents are still acting like I'm some disgrace. My mom sends me passive-aggressive devotionals about submissive wives and respecting spiritual leadership every other morning. Like, I'm not joking. Actual verses, no commentary, just links. I haven't responded once. My dad hasn't even tried. He just unfollowed me on everything and blocked my number for asking my husband why he's texting 5 different church women at midnight. This is the world we live in now, apparently. And the worst part is, and I can't believe I'm even saying this, I think he's already seeing someone else. One of the women from the church. I don't have hard proof yet. I'm not trying to pull the same move twice and be wrong again, but something is off. Her name's Amira. I remember her from one of the rare times he did let me tag along to that church. She was always hovering, always giggling at his jokes, always staying a little too long when we'd pack up after service. She's cute, I'll give her that. The kind of girl who does the soft-spoken eyes down thing until you realize she's actually running the entire place behind the scenes. Someone sent me a picture. Yeah, I have one loyal friend left. Of them having coffee together last weekend. Just the 2 of them, on a Saturday, at the church cafe, because of course they have one. Apparently he brought her flowers. When I asked him about it, I know, I shouldn't have reached out, but I was spiraling. He said she's helping him through a season of discernment. A season of discernment. That's what we're calling secret dates now? I don't even know why I still care. Maybe because I feel like I've been replaced in every possible way. Like not just as a wife, but as a person. He used to come to me with everything. Now she's the one he calls. She's the one who knows what he's thinking, what he's praying about, what he's struggling with. And I'm just the bitter ex who attacked his character. I'm also starting to think he's telling people a whole different version of what happened. Another friend, ex-friend, said she heard I verbally abused him and mocked his faith. Which literally never happened. All I did was ask questions. All I did was not go along with the act. And now he's painting himself as some spiritual martyr who had to escape the evil wife to fulfill God's calling or whatever. This is where it gets even more messed up. I got an email from one of the church leaders. Not even a phone call. An email. It basically said I'm no longer welcome on the property unless I'm attending a supervised reconciliation session, and that if I try to interfere with the spiritual progress of any member, again, they will take legal action. I didn't even reply. What am I gonna say? Sorry I didn't bow down to the guy who suddenly started quoting Corinthians in bed. I feel like I'm living in a parallel universe where I'm the crazy one for wanting my husband to act like the guy I married. And let's not pretend this church is some wholesome little community. I did a little digging. Turns out a bunch of people have left recently because of how controlling the leadership is. I even found a Reddit post from 2 years ago. Yeah, I went down the rabbit hole from a girl saying she was kicked out for inappropriate friendships with a married man. Sound familiar? I'm starting to think he didn't fall into religion. He ran to it as an excuse, as a shield. A way to feel powerful and pure without having to do any real work on himself. Because what's easier, dealing with your issues or hiding behind a Bible and cutting everyone out who doesn't fall in line? At this point, I'm stuck. I'm technically homeless, bouncing between friends' couches while I figure out what comes next. I'm trying to get a lawyer. I want my name off that house. I want something in writing. If he can play the God card to kick me out of my own life, then I'm gonna play whatever cards I have left. And don't get me wrong, I know I'm not perfect. I know I could have handled some things differently, but I'm not the villain. I'm not the one who changed the rules mid-game and then punished everyone for not reading the new manual fast enough. He's possibly dating Amira. The church is threatening me. My family's disowned me, and I'm sleeping on a friend's futon with 2 suitcases and a toothbrush. If I sound angry, it's because I am. If I sound bitter, it's because I was served betrayal dressed up as a sermon. Update 2. I didn't plan on updating this again, honestly. I thought things would die down, or at least stabilize. I thought I'd get some distance, maybe even some peace. But things didn't quiet down. They blew the hell up. Every time I think it can't get worse, it does. It's like he's got a personal mission to erase me completely. Like I'm some stain on his spiritual growth he has to scrub out of existence. Let's start with the biggest thing. He's with her now. Officially. Amira. He didn't even try to keep it low-key. One of the women I used to be close with from the church, before they blacklisted me, sent me a screenshot from Amira's private Instagram. Her and him at a vineyard captioned, "God's timing is perfect." Yes, that's a ring emoji. He's already proposing to her. That's not even the part that gutted me the most. The part that sent me into an actual panic attack, the date in the caption. She posted it on what would have been our 7-year anniversary. Like I'm supposed to believe that's a coincidence. This man proposed to his church girlfriend on the exact day we got married and didn't even blink. And I know what you're thinking. Maybe they weren't talking while we were still together. Maybe I'm just bitter. But no, I've gone over the timelines, the texts I saw, the late-night prayer sessions. This wasn't new. This was brewing. I just wasn't supposed to find out until it was too late. I confronted him. Yes, again, I had to. I wasn't going to sit in silence while he rewrites the story one more time. I asked him straight up if he'd been seeing her while we were still married. And you know what he said? Emotionally, yes. Physically, no. So it wasn't a sin. Let that sink in. He admitted to falling in love with someone else while still sleeping next to me in the same house. But because there was no physical cheating, he thinks he's clean. He thinks he's holy. I swear to God this man is so far up his own delusional righteousness, he thinks technicalities make him a saint. What really set me off, though, was when I found out what he told Amira about me. Apparently, according to a mutual, who's since been cut off by both of them, he told her I manipulated him with sex, threatened to divorce him if he kept going to church, and tried to seduce other men at parties to make him jealous. None of that ever happened. I never threatened him. I never cheated. I never even flirted. But that's what he's telling people now. I guess when you're the villain in someone else's redemption arc, they'll write whatever script makes them look clean. It's more than just lies, though. It's the way he's using religion like a sword. He told the church elders I was disrupting his walk, and now they've barred me from even attending events my friends invite me to. I got turned away from a community barbecue because someone recognized me and told me I wasn't spiritually aligned. A goddamn barbecue. Meanwhile, Amira's over there leading Bible study with her brand new engagement ring and calling herself blessed beyond measure. And it's not just the church. My parents, still MIA. I found out they were invited to the proposal party. They didn't tell me. My own parents went to celebrate the engagement of my husband to the woman he emotionally cheated with and never said a word. My mom posted a blurry pic of a joyful day with new family and tagged Amira. Not me. Never me. I don't even know how to describe the kind of betrayal that feels like. It's like being gaslit by everyone you love at once. Like they're all in on some sick joke and I'm the only one who didn't get the script. Financially, I'm still scrambling. I finally hired a lawyer, and guess what? He's now claiming I abandoned the home, says I left voluntarily, and therefore have no right to any equity. Never mind the fact that he emotionally pushed me out, changed the locks, and told the church I was not safe to be around. Nope. Now I'm the one who walked away. My lawyer says we might have a case if we can prove coercion, but that takes time and money I don't have. I'm picking up extra shifts, selling furniture I had in storage, and trying to make rent on a 1-bedroom sublet while he plays house with his virgin bride and gets applauded for healing from past toxicity. I'm the toxicity now, I guess. Sometimes I lay awake at night wondering how this became my life, how I went from a marriage, a home, friends, family, to this, to being a punchline in a church sermon about unequally yoked partnerships. They're using me as a cautionary tale. I'm the Jezebel, the bitter ex, the woman who couldn't support her husband's journey. But I wasn't the one who left first. I wasn't the one who hid texts and snuck off to late-night prayer meetings with another woman. I wasn't the one who replaced my partner with a new personality and then punished them for noticing. That was him. So yeah, he's engaged now. I've been fully cut out of every space I used to belong to. The church, our friend group, my family, and the worst part is, I still don't know what the hell just happened. I don't know if he ever really loved me or if I was just some placeholder until he found his true spiritual match. All I know is, I'm not going down easy. Update 3. It's been 2 months after the engagement bombshell, and let me just say this up front. I didn't plan what happened. I wasn't out to get revenge. I wasn't scheming, but when the universe handed me the match, I didn't drop it. I lit the whole damn thing on fire. So, the church had this couples retreat last weekend. A big deal apparently. Only engaged or married couples could attend, and it was all hush-hush, invite only, no public posts until after. But people talk. Someone, a very tired, very over-it woman I used to serve with on a food drive, DM'd me and said she thought I should know what was going down there. She didn't even try to be subtle. You might want to hear what your ex is saying about you behind your back. I was already shaking before I even opened the voice memo. It was a recording from one of their testimony sessions. Him and Amira sat in front of everyone, talking about their faith journey and how God brought them together through hardship. And then he said it, word for word. My first marriage was a lesson. She wasn't walking in the light. She mocked my transformation. She tried to tear me from my calling. But through that, God prepared me for Amira. She smiled and nodded like she was soaking in a Hallmark proposal. The crowd clapped. Someone said, "Amen." And I just sat there, frozen, listening to the man I lived with for 6 years rewrite our entire relationship into a cautionary parable. I don't even remember walking to my laptop. I just started pulling everything. The texts, the calendar dates, the receipts, photos, my journal entries. I built a damn dossier, and then I sent it. I didn't even know who to send it to at first. I ended up emailing it to 3 people I knew were on the church leadership team, plus one woman in their admin office I remembered from a volunteer event. I laid it all out. The emotional affair timeline, the transformation that lined up with when he started pulling away, the overlapping phone logs with Amira, the messages he sent me after we split, saying he missed our bed, our late nights, my body. Yeah, real holy. I didn't do it because I wanted him punished. I did it because I couldn't take one more person calling him a victim while I got painted as the demonic ex-wife who drank wine and listened to Megan Thee Stallion. Then it spiraled. One of the women I emailed, turns out she's part of some accountability committee, yes, that's a real thing, forwarded my file to the pastor. The pastor called a meeting with them. And apparently, Amira had no idea he was still messaging me during the early months of their courtship. Oh yeah. That blew it open. I found out from that same food bank lady, bless her nosy heart, that Amira freaked out, that she threatened to call off the engagement, that she screamed at him in the parking lot and told him he was spiritually manipulative, which, yeah, welcome to my world. But here's the part I didn't see coming. The church turned on both of them. I thought maybe they'd side with her, maybe exile him and make her the poor duped woman of virtue. But nope, they told them both to step down from ministry for a season of restoration. Translation, you embarrassed us, go sit in the corner. They removed him from the men's group leadership team. She's not allowed to lead prayer circles anymore. People are whispering now. The golden couple is tarnished. And yet, and this is the part that makes me want to slam my head into a wall, they're still together. He apologized. She forgave him. They posted a new picture yesterday, smiling on some lake hike, captioned, "Walking through the storm together, now faith strong." I don't even know if they're delusional or just so far in they can't get out without losing face, but whatever it is, it's disgusting. And you know what really kills me? I didn't get one word from him. Not one apology. Not a "you were right." Not a "thank you for not torching my life when you could've." Nothing. He just carried on like I was a speed bump on the highway to heaven. My parents haven't reached out either. I'm pretty sure they still believe whatever version he gave them, that I tried to destroy his peace and rebelled against his growth. I'm done waiting for them to come around. If losing a daughter means less awkwardness at church brunch, then they were never really mine. But I'm not broken anymore. That's the weird thing. The more truth I dropped, the lighter I felt. I didn't do it out of spite. I did it because I needed someone, anyone, to see me, to know I wasn't just some obstacle in a man's sanctification story. I was a person. I mattered. I still do. Legally, things are moving slowly. My lawyer thinks we've got a case to at least get my share of the house or force a buyout. Apparently, some of his texts, the ones where he told me he was keeping the house warm for when I came back, might be enough to counter the abandonment claim. I don't want to jinx it, but it's the first bit of hope I've had in months. I don't know if he and Amira will make it. Part of me doesn't care, but part of me hopes it all falls apart. Not because I want him to suffer, but because I want him to see what he gave up, what he destroyed for a fantasy version of himself that never actually existed. Final update. This is the last time I'll talk about him, about them, about any of it. Not because I'm over it. I don't think I'll ever be fully over what happened, but because I'm done giving it oxygen. This fire burned down everything I had. All that's left now is ash and whatever I decide to rebuild from it. Let me just say this up front. I didn't get justice. Not really. Not the kind that feels good. Not the kind that makes you fist pump in the car or write a smug little update saying karma did her job. That's not how real life works. That's not how this ended. South, what happened? The legal battle dragged for 3 more months. His lawyer kept trying to push this narrative that I left him for lifestyle reasons, that I wasn't stable enough to claim interest in the property because I chose to leave the shared home during our period of spiritual transition. That's how they framed it, spiritual transition. Like he didn't shove me out with cold silences and prayer circles full of women he never introduced me to. But my lawyer got a hold of the texts, the ones he sent me after I left, the ones where he asked if I'd consider coming back when things settled, the ones where he still called me babe and said, "You'll always be my heart, even if we're apart." My lawyer presented those in mediation, and the whole tone shifted. Long story short, I got a partial buyout. Not the full equity I was owed. That would have required court and more money than I could afford to throw at this man. But enough to put a down payment on a tiny condo across town. It's not perfect. It's not the dream house, but it's mine. He never said a word during the whole process. Just sat there, stone-faced behind his lawyer. Wouldn't even look at me. After everything, after years of building a life together, after replacing me with a choir girl in less time than it takes to renew a passport, he didn't even have the decency to acknowledge what he did. And somehow, that still hurt more than the lies. As for him and Amira, they're still together. Wedding set for this fall. They posted a save the date video like they're influencers now. Matching denim shirts, walking hand in hand through a field. Voiceover about rising from the ashes of past pain. I couldn't even finish watching it. I almost threw my phone across the room. Apparently, she forgave him for withholding his emotional history. That's how they're spinning it now. Not cheating, not manipulation. Just withholding emotional history. These people could rebrand war crimes if you gave them a Bible and a ring light. My parents are still deep in it. They're helping plan the wedding. My mom's already calling Amira my bonus daughter. My dad's giving a speech. I'm not invited, obviously. I wouldn't go even if I was, but it's still a gut punch. Every time I think I've adjusted to the isolation, there's some new layer of it. I've started therapy, real therapy, not church counseling. Not marriage accountability partners. Actual, professional, secular therapy. My therapist says I've got symptoms of complex grief, that I didn't just lose a relationship. I lost a support system, a community, an identity. It tracks. I don't go out much yet. I'm still piecing together a new social life. People don't know what to say to me. The ones who stayed neutral during the split are uncomfortable around me now. They don't want to pick sides. Which is funny because the side they didn't pick is the one they kept hanging out with. But whatever. I found a new job, part-time, something low-key. It's not glamorous, but it pays rent and gives me a reason to get out of bed most days. That's the bar now, just existing without crying before noon. And yet, I'm still here. Still standing, even if barely. I spent so long trying to make sense of what happened, trying to find the moment it all flipped. Was it the first Bible verse he quoted back to me like a warning? Was it the day he deleted all our playlists and replaced them with worship music? Was it when he stopped touching me and said he was fasting from worldly desire? Maybe there's no moment. Maybe it was always coming. What I know now, and what I didn't understand back then, is that he didn't change. He revealed. The version of him I fell in love with wasn't fake, but it wasn't finished either, and the finished version didn't have room for me. Not really. Not unless I shrank myself down to fit inside his redemption narrative. And I wasn't willing to do that. I still don't know if I was right to accuse him. Maybe he never slept with them. Maybe it was just spiritual intimacy. But whatever it was, it replaced me. It made me feel invisible. It made me feel crazy. It made me feel like I was competing with ghosts in a room I used to call home. So maybe I lost, but I lost on my terms, and that counts for something.